Hey everyone, happy Tuesday. Hope everybody's doing well. Welcome to Knotty Yarnies. My name is Barb and I'm from Ontario in Canada. And I'm a crocheter, knitter, loom knitter, all-round crafter. I do scrapbooking, cross stitch, plastic canvas, a whole bunch of other things. So if any of those things interest you, I mostly do the yarn related crafts, so mostly knitting and crocheting, but one day I'll maybe venture out and show you a bunch of other things too. So, but for now it's yarn stuff. Hope you enjoy the ride. So don't forget to subscribe if you like these kind of videos. Don't forget to check out my other videos. Like it if you like the videos. I would greatly appreciate it. On to my 6th weekly podcast. Thank you all for joining me. I'm got lots of news and things that's went on this week, things that I've got planned coming, things that to show you that I've did this week, some things I've snapped up this week that I call snap up time, and it's things that I've purchased this week pretty much, but I just want to have a fancy name like snap up or something like that, so I decided to call it my snap ups. So this week, oh, first I should tell you, this, on my mannequin, this is a heart hook home pattern. It's a paid pattern, but it's actually for a sweater that you'll see she has. I don't have that in projects yet. She has it on with, oh, what's that called? Mandala yarn. She has a sweater and it's just a pullover and it has 3/4 length. And I just did it with the open and made it into cardigan, added a hood, added length to the sleeves, added thumb holes on the thumbs, and added, of course, buttonholes. So I just kind of changed the pattern. I made the pattern that she has first, and after I was comfortable with what the project, how to do it, how to put it all together, I was able then to make this one. I've made 2 like this one now. So, all right, for things that in my life that have been going on this week, I during this COVID time, you know, we have to keep our distance and social distance, and I stayed away from my mom for 2 months, I believe it was. I just did daily phone calls and I did her groceries, and it was just like a porch drop off all her bags, and then she brought them all in and washed them all down, washed her table down, all that kind of stuff. And so, but now we've graduated to just sitting outside for our visits and on her deck, and her deck's large enough where I could sit at one end and she could sit at the other end, and we could sit there for a few hours and chat. So I did that a few times this week again when it wasn't raining like it is today. And one night my aunt was there, so I got to spend some time with her and see her. And then another night my niece was there, so I spent a couple hours with her and haven't seen her in months, so that was very, very nice. And yeah, that's always a plus to be able to see them, you know, even though it's from a distance. But and I also got to see some friends of ours that we haven't seen in a while, so we just kind of pulled in their driveway, seen them outside, and pulled in and chatted for about 10 minutes with them from a distance as well. So I mean, you run into people at the grocery store and you don't want to hold up the lineup because there's people outside waiting to get in, and you really shouldn't be around everybody that much. So we just and we didn't run into them either in the stores, so we'd just grocery shop once a week or once every 2 weeks and barely run into anybody because there's only a set amount of people allowed in the grocery store at one time. So chances are we don't know who the people are that are in there. So this week I've decided, 2 weeks ago I made a decision. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that I have a leopard gecko, and 2 weeks ago he sits, or she used to sit on I have a tall pub style table in the kitchen, and she used to sit on there, and I kind of decided that I didn't take her out enough. I just didn't have the time for her, and like I didn't take her out enough, and it wasn't fair to her. So my oldest son has a home where he's actually got a lizard room. So he has another gecko. They had 2 geckos before, and my future daughter-in-law's gecko had passed away. So they're down to my son's one. And then they had a bearded dragon, and he passed away this not too long ago also. So I they got them from kind of just local people, and they were kind of not very well taken care of, unfortunately. So they passed away. So they weren't well when he got them. Thought he can fix them up. There's no vets in our area at all that deal with reptiles. So it's sad. But my girl's really healthy. The one that he's got is really healthy. They're going to be in their own cages. They got a great big aquarium and heat lamps, and they're very, very big and healthy. You could tell the health of the geckos by their tail. So I gave him her and all the stuff that goes along with her. My husband bought her for me for Christmas 2 years ago. And I really thought I did enjoy having her, but my future daughter-in-law and my son both take them out and play with them and let them walk around and crawl all over them. So she'll enjoy that a lot more. So, and I don't get out very much to get crickets for food for her. Like, you had to spend like $5 a week in crickets all the time, and I'm just, yeah, so she's in a better place with them, so they'll enjoy her. I stained some more fence posts with my husband this week. So we have a new neighbor. They moved in. Well, they're slowly moving in. It's been raining the last 4 days. So they took over the house on the 1st of August. And we were out trimming like the tree branches and things all around the bushes around the fence where the fence is going to go. So we did all that, and they were outside, but they were busy working. So we haven't introduced ourselves as of yet. So hopefully there's a nice day soon, and hopefully once they've moved in, their stuff isn't in yet. They've been just kind of cleaning the house and doing inside stuff. So hopefully we get a chance to meet him and introduce ourselves. So that'll be very nice. We went for a trip to Ottawa. Now, we don't want to do it a lot. We go once it usually used to be every 2 months or so to Costco, but we're trying to make it less often. So we try to go every 4th month or something since COVID has started. So my son decided he needed, well, he didn't decide he needed dog and cat food and such, and he purchased me a gift card to one of the Tanger malls, it's called, outlet malls in Ottawa, for my birthday. So he wanted to take me there to let me use my gift card and then go get our stuff we needed, because we always need something at Costco. So we decided to make it a family little trip. So we went there. We went to Michael's, and if you look at my last video yesterday, I just recorded my Michael's haul that I did. So if you want to check that out, please do. And then we went to Princess Auto. I didn't purchase anything there, but my one's an auto mechanic. The other one works in a garage as well. He's an apprentice. And then, of course, we went to Costco. We went to Dollarama, and the Tanger malls was so busy. It was pouring rain, but they're outside. So they're all attached, but they have outside doors. So it's almost like a strip mall where you have to go in each separate door. And so there was a lineup already at 11:30, and they didn't open till noon, some of them. But I found the American Eagle store, and it was open actually at 11:30. It might have been 11, but when we got there at 11:30, it was already open, and there was no lineup. The only place. So I said, well, I may as well start there. Well, I went in there and fell in love with too much stuff. I ended up with 2 t-shirts, one a pink tie-dyed color and a nice beautiful yellow one. And then I found a long sleeve purple t-shirt, which purple's my favorite, and I like long sleeves in the gym because I'm always cold in there. They have it a little bit on the cool side. And then I found a gray American Eagle sweatshirt with American Eagle down the side, and then it has the eagle on the front. And then I spotted this, and then I was like, oh, that's beautiful. And then my son goes, okay, well, I'm buying you that. So my youngest son, he loves spoiling me, so he picked it up and purchased it for me. And out he went. He bought himself a belt, and he bought me this. So it was so sweet. So I like it. I love pink. So I was buying the gray one. That's the one I had first chose because I figured I would use it for the gym, or it would match anything that I would wear. But the pink wasn't as, it wasn't as universal. So like if I'm wearing a couple different colors, it won't match. So I decided to go with the gray one. Would match everything, but he knew I liked the pink one, so he picked that up for me. So thank you, Cole. So on to my whips, which whips is works in progress. And I will start off right away with the one that some of you might be wondering about, if I started or not. So I started the Dotty pullover last week, and that pattern is from Yay for Yarn, and I'm using Bernat Chunky in the colorway of Fresh Green. Beautiful, beautiful yarn. I'm using right now I'm using I don't know if I have to change. I think I have to change to for the sleeves, but 8mm circular knitting needles, and they're 32 inches long. So I will show you how far I got on that. I'm pretty pleased with myself how far I've come. Hope you are too. So just started the other day. Felt like, it's a raglan type sweater. So you're starting at the neck, and you're getting that line in here to the armpit. So you're adding on stitches. So you're using like 4 stitch markers to mark out where your shoulders are, and it'll end up down in your armpit. And then you have the starting stitch marker. So you always put a different stitch marker in to mark that spot. So here it is. It's a beautiful green. I put on the light up there. So my last video, the lights were going in and out, and I didn't want that to happen. So this might be a little too bright for you to tell the true beauty of this green, but it's gorgeous. So this is like, I should show it like this, right? Because this is the top. There we go. Yeah, you can make it out more. There we go. Yep, there's the neck. It's like a knit 2 purl 2 ribbing. And I want to tell you though, the pad, I'm not even showing it proper here. I should show it where the raglan part is. See, there's the stitch work for the raglan on the both sides. I should tell you though, the Dotty sweater pattern, it's in Ravelry, and she has a video to go along with it on YouTube. I'm not following the pattern completely. I know, going off course, and it's my first ever sweater. I just did a really, really easy change. All I did was, I wanted my first sweater pattern to look like it was all knitted stitches. So you can see it's all knitted. She has it where it's knit 1, purl 1 through the whole body section. And I wanted all knit stitches. So I'm just had one problem, and maybe somebody can help me out what I'm doing wrong here. I'm just noticing it now. I guess I'll put this in the back, but this is where my main stitch marker is, and where I join, I guess. And it's kind of getting a ribbing look. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. See right here? It's like, there's my stitch marker for the rounds, and this is what it's doing. It's getting like a line. Am I knitting too loosely right there, or Should I be pulling a certain strand or something when I do it? If anybody could let me know, like, has experienced that. It just looks like almost like I switched to a bigger hook for that first stitch or the last stitch, one or the other. Maybe I'm not pulling the working yarn tight enough when I'm doing that next stitch, or maybe it's because my stitch marker is too thick. Do you think that might be it? Let me know if you have experienced that. That's I'm kind of sad by that, but if that's all that goes wrong with my very first sweater pattern, I'd say that's pretty darn good. I could even take I guess after the fact, I could take maybe a piece of yarn and just kind of go up the whole strip and just darn the 2 stitches together up from the top right down to the bottom in the middle, and it'll pull it all in. That might be an idea to do. But yeah, again, that's the Dottie pullover, and I'll show you my progress each weekly podcast to show you how it's going on me. So far, my husband thought the neck looked a little big, but I think it'll just be won't be too bad once it gets up there. So we'll see how she looks. So that's that project that I'm working on. It's kind of a little addicting to work on. I'm kind of upset about the one crease there. But like I said, if it's just the one thing that happens, that's not bad. Then my next project I've been working on, actually I started this one before the sweater, but oh, my basket here is trying to fall down. So I've got it in my little project bag that I bought at Michael's before. And this project is using Snuggly Stripes wool in the colorway of Goldenrod. Beautiful #1 weight yarn. It's gorgeous. It's so sweet and soft. So here I'm doing the sock head cowl, and that pattern is by Kelly McClure, and that is a free pattern on Ravelry if you're interested. She's also got a sock head hat to match, and I probably will start that once I'm done this one. So last time you seen it, it was like this long, and I did that like 4 times because I kept messing up going in the round. So, I kept messing up knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, and then I did one row where I was off when I stopped. But now I know when I'm looking at it what stitch it is actually by if there's a bump under the stitch or if there's no bump. So I basically know when I'm on knit and when I'm on purl rows. So here's how it's coming along. I'm at about 2.5 inches now, and I've got to do 4 inches of 4 inches of the cuff. Would you call it cuff or brim? Anyway, you got to do 4 inches of this part. So there's a yeah, I'm loving how it's turning out. I think this is going to look amazing with my sweater even. So I'm seeing that when I look at her pattern, I guess it's because I'm a looser knitter, and I'm even using continental knitting. So normally that tightens it up a little bit, but I should have actually dropped down a hook size. I did a gauge swatch, but over the course of me working on this, it's changed. And gauge isn't too terribly important in this because it's just going over your head. As long as it's a little loose, it doesn't matter. But I also didn't have any smaller needles, so I just went with that. But maybe I'll do another one and I'll do it as smaller. Depends. Maybe this will just fit me. I'm not sure. So, but this takes, with the fingering yarn, it takes so long. Like to do an inch must take me like a few hours just to make an inch of it, because I've been working on this, seems like, for probably 3 days of just 4-hour sessions, and that's all I've got done. Once I get to the knitting part, like you got to do 4 inches of this section, and I'm 2.5 inches there in. So once I get just to the straight knitting part, that'll be a breeze. But then I've got to do another 4 inches of this at the top. So, but that's going to be beautiful. So I wanted to show my progress I did on that. Next, we've got the Better Together Afghan with Mikey from the Crochet Crowd and Jeannie. So they did a kind of like, she designed the middle part, or he designed it. I don't know who started it. And then they sent the other person the clues, so they whipped it up and then they added on. Then the other person had to add that pattern, part of the pattern on, and they sent it back and forth and back and forth. And we're on week 4 right now, but I've got 6 more rows before I'm on week 4. So I was behind because I took 2 weeks to start. So it was already into week 2 when they started. But there's also, once the last clue's out, you get a whole month after to finish it up. So I've been wanting to work on my knitted projects in between. And we're at the point of the Afghan that it takes quite a long time just to do one row. Like you're talking like probably an hour or something now just to do one row. And it's just going to get longer and longer in time because you're going to have more and more stitches all the way around every time because you're adding 2 stitches each row that you do. So the more rows you do, the more. So I'm up to about 100 and I think I have 112 or 113 stitches on each side. Okay, so that goes to how many stitches. So it's over 400 stitches just for one row. So, and that's just on the part that I'm on currently. So I'm using Karen Big Cakes for it. I should have took out a ball that's already in the colorway of Plum Pudding. Here's the color. Okay, and here's how far I am. Let's make sure I'm showing you the right side. Yes, I probably can't get it all in one, but here we go. I like that I'm using the cakes because I'm not needing to change colors at all. It's rolling a bit on me, but that'll be all right once blocking comes into play. But yeah, I like that it just changes colors on its own. Most people that I've seen are changing colors when he says to. It looks gorgeous that way. Beautiful, beautiful that way. But I just wanted to do it all. And I had those balls I got for my birthday a few years ago, and I wanted to use them for something. And I thought this was the great opportunity to use them up. So I'm even considering they have an added on part where you can add on to make it even larger. So I plan on, after the giveaway is done for this, I plan to do the adding on part. But I might switch the added on part. I might end up switching over and doing, if I run out of yarn, doing another colorway all around the outside. I'm not sure, but that's how far I've come. I'm on row 40. Yeah, I'm on row 40 of this. So I'll have no problem being on getting to week 4 on before the next, or week 4 is out. I guess there's another clue, week 5. So that's on Friday, but I'll have no worries. I'll be on to the next week. So I'll still be a week behind, but I'll get to it by Friday. Like I'll probably match up with them, but it'll take me a while longer. So like I'm quick, but we'll see how, I'll keep you updated anyway. And I have no finished objects this week. As you can see, they're all being in progress, and I'm not working on any dishcloths or any little projects like hats or anything like that. Although some days I'm tempted to start, but I'm like, you've got 3 in the go already, silly. So, and I've got an order for a Christmas stocking already. So a friend of mine has a baby in her family that she wants a knitted stocking for, or crocheted stocking. So I got to get on that soon. So I've got time. She's not in a rush. She just wanted to make sure to get her order in before I got busy. So, which I appreciate, because A, she wants certain colors. So I got to make sure I pick up the yarn, and then B, I've got to also fit it in when I can. So sometimes, you know, things happen, life happens, you get busy, and then you don't end up with time. So at least I got a little over 4 months to make sure I got it done. So, and I won't leave it till the last minute. I never do. That's why I tell people starting in June, I'm like, if you have something you know you would like from me for Christmas, let me know way ahead, because then it gives me opportunity. Like, there's no yarn around here. It gives me an opportunity to go shopping or look online and find where I can purchase that yarn from, and then get it in. Sometimes it's, right now it's taking like weeks and weeks and weeks to get the yarn orders in. So, and then if something snag comes up or life happens, you know, you end up with not having it on time. So I like to have it way ahead. So on to my snap up time. So just a few things that I purchased when I was out and about in Ottawa. So at the dollar store, sometimes I find keychains that are pom-poms. So I just use them. I'll use them on my hats. I have enough grays and browns and blacks, so I figured, I seen the red. They were actually out for Canada Day, and they had them on the end with all the Canadian stuff. So I said, those are perfect. They don't have to be for Canada Day. They could be for Christmas, or they could be just for any day, just if I'm making a red hat. So, or a white hat, or whatever color hat that needs a red pom-pom. So I purchased, they only had 2, or I would have purchased more. So that was a Dollarama store that's in a little town by me called Renfrew. So it's a smaller version of one. So each year I like lists, as you know. I like planners, I like scrapbooking, all that kind of stuff. So at Costco, I seen this 2-pack of daily planners for year 2021. I have one for this year already for 2020, and it cost me $20 just for the one. Well, I got a pack of 2 for $10. It's in a nice case. You can see it's like a plasticky, but so it's like a vinyl, so it's very, very durable. So it's in that, and it has like lots of, you can see here, whatever those are called, like a binder rings or something, so it won't rip. There's like for each day, there's the monthly schedule one. So I'm anxious to break into that come January, but I'm not in a rush, don't get me wrong. But I wish they had these out not last year. They might have had them out last year, and I just don't go that often. Like, I'm only there every 2nd or 3rd month, so I probably just missed them last year. I was there in November, but they probably, if they sold them at this time, I bought this in August, like the 1st of August, so I wouldn't have been looking for them in August for, you know, for the next year. So at Walmart or at Costco, I also picked up some highlighters. Look at the pack of highlighters you can get. These are great to mark your patterns. So when you have all different sizes, say it says starts at extra small, small, medium, large, extra large, and then you got your 1X, 2X, 3X, 4X, 5X. Well, you need to highlight on the pattern for your own size, so that you're not going to chain the wrong amount. You're going to say you're making a size extra large, and you need to chain 20, and the medium says to chain, you know, 14. So you end up doing the chaining for the medium instead of the large. It's going to mess you up for the rest of the pattern. So that's what I use highlighters for. So they had all the different colors, and I just love them. And these are Bic's, a great brand. So these were $9.99. So I can't wait to break into those. I just wanted to keep them in there until I showed you guys. So also purchased at the dollar store, I have this light up one that I got at Walmart, and I love that, but I figured I would get something so I can kind of change it up or maybe put other notes on it for you to see. And this is called a felt letter board, and it comes with 145 letters. This only had 2 of each letter, like there wasn't very many letters in there. So to change up, if you're putting something that has lots of I's or something, you couldn't do it. So, but here it is. So I could put podcast number 6 in there, you know, like if I wanted to, or happy Halloween, or whatever whatever I think of, I could put in there, or even a shout out to somebody or anything. So I wanted to get one of those. That was only $4. $4 at the dollar store. At Walmart, our local Walmart here, and all of Walmarts across Canada, because I see it in the flyers, when it's back to school time, not sure if lots are going back to school, back to home, I said, but every year they have these on for 10 cents a piece. These are the 80-page subject notebooks, and they have them for 10 cents. They're Hilroy, like they're a good quality book. Like I'm using one now, and I use them steady. That's what I use. And every year I purchase these when they're 10 cents a piece. I purchase 30 of them. So it cost me $3 for 30 notebooks. So I'm always steady jotting notes, making lists. When I call my mom to ask what she wants at the grocery store, I put that. I'm doing my bills up. I can kind of figure out the rough math in it. If I find a recipe online I write it down. If I find a pattern online, and you know how you click on, oh, it's a free pattern on Ravelry, and then you click on their blog and it has all the pop-ups going on. And if you say you do it, work on it maybe just a half an hour a day for 6-7 days in a row, and it just, you have to go through all those pop-ups every single time. Well, I don't do that. To avoid that, I just take, an hour and I scroll through and I write everything for the pattern down in these books. And then on that page, say for instance, I was doing the Dottie sweater. It's like that. It has the pop-ups and everything on it because it's the free pattern. And so I have the Dottie sweater, and I have all everything that is in the pattern. And then I put at the top what needle size I'm using. So I put down my 8mm, and then circulars, and then the length, and then I put down everything I need to know. And then on a page behind, like the next page, I usually put down what rows I'm on. So for instance, on that pattern, it's rows 1 through 6, and then it's a repeat of rows 3, 4, 5, and 6, and you have to repeat them a certain amount of times for your sweater size. So what I did was I wrote down 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, all on the other page after the pattern. And as I finished that row, I cross it off, and then I go on to the next one. So it's kind of like a stitch marker in a way, not a stitch marker, a row counter I'm using the papers for. So, and then if I really love that pattern, all I do is I keep that page and I go write it in a better book that I'm going to show you. So when I do enjoy a recipe or another pattern, a knitted or crocheted pattern, I purchased this to write them all in. 5 subject notebook, and inside it's got enough room for 5 different subjects. So say I wanted this to be all knitted patterns, I would put all the ones that I like and I know I'm going to use again. I'll put the pattern, write it all in here, and then here I could put recipes, and in the next one I could put my crochet patterns, and etc., etc. You get the idea. But this was at Walmart, was only $2.97 this week for back to school sales, so I was really excited about that. This has 400 pages, and it's the regular size paper. So actually, you know what, this looks like it's a wider paper than normal. 8 by 10.5 inches. I'm not sure if that's normal size. Let me just check. 8 by 10.5 inches. Oh, this one's in centimeters. 20.3 by 26. No, it's the same size. It just looks wider for some strange reason for me. So I bought that. I was excited about that. And then my last purchase, of course, we need masks right now, as you're well aware. So I spied a whole end cap at Walmart with some different masks, and my husband's seen, my name's Barb, as you know, and my husband's seen the Barbie ones. He's always called me Barbie, his Barbie. So he spied some Barbie ones. So here's the first one. It says Barbie right there. Whoop, can you see that? I think it's in the fold. There we go. Yeah, it says Barbie. And then when you put it on, it's a happy face. It has the nice, I better take that off, you probably can't hear me. The nice little tip of the nose, so it goes over your nose. I really liked that. And then it had actually 2 in the pack. So this is the second one. It's all little Barbie in her ponytail. This one matches my sweater. So, yeah, 2 of these were $8. They were $8 for 2 of them. So, yeah, I have quite a little collection, as I'm sure a lot of people do, because by the time they're 100% cotton, so you know, by the time you wash them and they dry, I just like to hand wash and let them air dry. So I have them like on a hanger with clothespins all across. And then after I hand wash them, I just pin them as they go. So, because there's 3 of us here, so we all have ours. So I have the scarf one that you've seen me wear that I just put up over my face. And I've got these ones, and I've got a pink camouflage one and a solid pink one. And I think that's it. And I got a bunch of disposable ones too that I just leave in our vehicle. So in case we just unexpectedly run into somewhere. But most of the time I just go, like, I'll wear these around my mom if I have to get closer to her, like bring something heavy in to her house for groceries. Or like this week I had to put her water bottle on her water machine. It's a big 20-liter water bottle, so I had to put that on for her. So I wear my mask so to protect her. So, and she's never been anywhere or around anybody, so she doesn't have to worry. She's got a lung disease, so we really got to protect her. And maybe with the face mask on, it might be hard for her to breathe. I'm not sure. I know there's a lot of people that say with the masks on, it's easy to breathe, but it's very, very humid here right now. And I don't know. I'm not in her position with her lung problem, so I can't speak for her, but I'll wear my mask around her anyways. So. And I plan to start, I probably told you this before, the flax sweater by Tin Can Knits. That's going to be on my knitting needles the very minute that I'm done with the Dotty sweater. So hopefully it runs in the middle of a week, in the middle of podcasts, so that I could have the finished Dotty sweater to show you, and then have the flax sweater on my knitting needles started to show you what it's starting to look like. I hope I could get that far along. So for the Tin Can Knits, the flax sweater, I'm going to be using the Flex yarn by Loops and Thread. Look at the flex in it. I love this. It's pink galore. Oh, it's so soft and cuddly. That's going to be such a beautiful knit. It, of course, will take longer because it's not a chunky yarn, but it's a number 4 weight yarn. So can't wait to start that. That's going to be the only thing that I'm planning to do besides the stocking that will be on my hook. So that's all for purchases and plans and things like that. So the videos that I've did this week, if you're interested in going back and watching and if you think you might have missed something, yesterday I did the Michael's Yarn Haul video, so go check that out. On Friday was my 7th weekly yarn basket review. So I pick a bunch of different numbered yarns and I go through them and describe them and share them all with you. I love those kind of videos. So if you do, that was on Friday. That's my 3rd video back. Last Thursday, just before that one, I did the part 4 of all the things I've ever created in the last 6 years I've crocheted and summer knitted. So if that interests you, I've got 4 different videos of showing you all the different projects that I've ever made. So, and if you have any questions on any of the videos, just ask me in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as I can with answers of where I got the pattern, if it was paid or free, whatever questions you have. I will try to answer as best as my ability. So maybe it's the type of yarn I used or anything. Just let me know. And then Wednesday last week was my what I've been up to. So kind of like the podcast, but I didn't put it as a weekly podcast, but it was like a short version of my weekly podcast. So, and coming up, my videos that will be coming up in the next week or two, I will be doing a tutorial on that stuffed bunny I showed you. I plan on doing one in knit version and one in crocheted version. So either way, you'll be able to use whatever yarn you choose, whatever size yarn you choose. The tighter the better. So like if you any stitch you choose, but the best stitch would be just single crochet. And then so if you want to get ahead of the game, pick your favorite yarn that you want one to be in and do a gauge swatch in single crochet or knitted, and make sure it's not too holey because you wouldn't want to see the stuffing through it, and just do a little gauge swatch like a 4x4, and then if that works out beautifully for you, you're ahead of the game. Or if you want to jump ahead, you can also do an 8 or 10 or 12 inch one, a swatch. If it's not that whole looking really good, leave it right there and then come back and watch that video and I'll show you how to make the bunny out of that square. So it's kind of cheating a little bit because you're not doing the gauge swatch, but if it looks good, why not? We're going to make it out of a square anyway. So perfect. I'm going to do, I got this idea from somebody in the comments last week. My weekly yarn basket, I normally will pick out just different yarns that intrigue me or I want to show off. And this week coming, I decided to do a weekly yarn basket, but funkiest of yarns, like the funkiest yarns or the most different yarns that I've got in my collection. So to show you all those different things. So there'll be all different weird and interesting or unique type yarns. So look forward to that this coming Friday. That'll be fun. I've been busy watching on Netflix, Kodi, which is just a streaming thing we have on our we have a little internet box that plugs into the TV and HDMI cord, and it has a program called Kodi. It's also an app, and you can load add-ons, they're called, in there, and each add-on has all different shows and movies in them. So we've watched things like Alone. I'm obsessed with the show Alone. We're on season 6 or 8. I've lost count. And the show Medium. I love that show. I watch that one I watch with my husband. And I've just finished the latest season of MasterChef Canada. I love watching those. I know I'm keto, living the keto lifestyle, but so now that I've lived it for almost 2 years, next month will be 2 years. And since I've lived it for so long and know a lot of information about it, I could kind of get an idea from seeing something, and they use something that we can't have in the keto world, but I know how to change it up to make it something that we can eat. So I'm kind of getting really cool ideas from the show. Really love that. I want to do a few shout outs. because those are great to for them to know that I'm watching them, and for maybe their viewers, then if they would love to thank me or whatever, then maybe I can gain some people to come watch me as well. So brand new this week. I just caught them. I mean, it was up for 30 minutes and I seen their very first episode and podcast. I couldn't believe that and by that time there was like 200 people that already had seen it. I don't know how they knew it that quickly, but it came up on my feed. I guess it's because it had the word knit in it. So they knew, but it's called Knot, spelt the same way as Knotty Knitties, with a Knotty Yarnies with a K. So Not Your Average Knitting Podcast. It's a young Canadian couple. They're not together, but they're friends, and they got together because of yarn and knitting. So it was a really, really great podcast for the first podcast. And also Smells Like Yarn with Ross. Omit the with Ross part, but it smells like yarn. And his name's Ross, and he has a great knitting podcast as well. Cinnamon Stitches is a great one as well. She's amazing. She's fun to watch. Knit, Purl, and Squirrel with Granny D. Thompson. Fun lady. Go check her out. Crafty Floridian. Another fun lady to watch. She's down in Florida. And last but not least, Creative Grandma. So love it if you go and let them know. If you watch them, just let them know I sent you over to say hi. Would appreciate that. And in case they've never heard of me either, so just let them know that Barb says hi too, and you got their name from me. If you're already watching, that's fine. You don't have to do that. But I'd appreciate it if you're learning about them, you like their channel, you watch a video, go, oh my gosh, I do like this. So mention that I found you through Barb at Knotty Yarnies, and she sent me here, and now I'm a fan. Something like that. Some podcasts I really like besides those ones, because I don't watch a lot of TV. As you've seen, I just named only just 3 things that I've watched this week. But so I really like watching podcasts on YouTube as I crochet and knit. It kind of keeps me inspired to go and kind of have like yarn chats. And even if my husband's watching a movie or something, I have my earphone in one ear, like so I could hear him talking, and we're still talking, but I have it in one ear while I'm kind of half-ass watching the podcast on my iPad. It sits on the arm of my chair, and he's watching on the TV. But when he's not home, I usually just put it onto the TV and watch it on the TV. So here's some podcasts that I enjoy. Needles at the Ready. And that Needles at the Ready is with Kevin and Ray. They do a lot of beautiful knits, and Ray also crochets as well. And there's Smells Like Yarn, and again I mentioned that is with Ross, so that was for my shout out. Sweet Tea No Shade, that's another couple of guys do lots of knitting, and they're really entertaining, so I suggest to go check them out. Naughty Knitwits, they're a hoot to watch. Honestly, I don't even know why I said they're a hoot. I don't even say that. But go check them out, Naughty Knitwits. And the Beaded Pearl. He recently added his husband into the podcast, and it was a big hit. Like, a lot of people were like hearing about this Justin person, but they decided to bring Justin onto the podcast, and what a beautiful podcast it was. Because Justin loves talking, and he just kind of talked our ear off, but it was never boring. So it was a really, really fun podcast. So I enjoy the podcasts with everyday people, and I'm into reality TV, that kind of thing. So the podcasts are kind of along that line to me. Like, we're sitting in the same room, I have my tea, and I'm just along and chatting back and forth with you, so. Well, that's everything that's on my hooks, on my needles, that I'm doing, that I've been busy with, that I'm planning to do. The weather's been crappy. It's been raining, and when we were in Ottawa, it poured. I had an umbrella over my youngest son's head with myself, and we were soaked. even though we had an umbrella over our head, the only thing that was dry was from here up. The rest of us was soaked. It must have been coming at us on an angle. And today again, it's just pouring outside, and it's supposed to be calling for quite a lot of rain, but we haven't had rain for a while, so this is really a good thing. Our flowers and our plants needed it. Our wild animals needed it. So it's great that it's doing it. So I won't keep you any longer, guys. I hope you got something out of everything that I talked about and all the future items I'll be showing you and going through, and I hope you're looking forward to the tutorial soon. I'll try to get on that. I'll probably do the squares up on the weekend and then record probably during the week next week. So look forward to that. So take care, everybody, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday, and ciao for now. Keep on being naughty, everybody. Bye.